And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Hey, how's it going, fellas? Right in the building, and welcome to the episode of the Combat Club. This is the episode number 21, because we're going to talk about a review the past Saturday night fights between UFC 306 and the fight between Canelo Alvarez versus Berlanga, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. So I just wanted to make sure that subscribe to my channel, which is Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, you can follow me on every social media, Twitter, Instagram, also Rumble, TikTok. I'm on everywhere. And of course, make sure to subscribe to my co-host channel, which is Zenith on YouTube. You can follow him on Twitter, YouTube, anything. And of course, I just wanted to make very sure at all, don't forget to subscribe to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network on YouTube. So don't be a ninja. Don't be a lurking ninja. Because if you press the button of subscribe, it costs you free. It didn't cost $1. It didn't cost $2. It costs you free. And ring the bell for notifications if you miss any of the live streams, including this podcast. So right now, let's just have so much fun to talk about the Canelo Alvarez versus Berlanga, which, as a matter of fact, that became like it is so much important in that fight. So let's just talk about it for Canelo versus Berlanga on this Saturday night fight. Now, on this fight, we just see like a lot of surprises, but also we just see like a lot of favoritism, because it feels like that fight that you saw Berlanga at a lot of people's eyes. Because right now it seems that they just had on the pocket. They just had in the pocket, ladies and gentlemen. They just had it all. Had it all. Because they're just way bigger than the opponent and lost every round. And I'll give like a lot of props to Berlanga to make it like a great fight. At the end of the day, it was just like a blowout. It seems like he was getting a lot of credit for surviving 12 rounds, because some of those fighters didn't survive 12 rounds when it comes to the boxing ring. Some of they did it, some of they don't. But I guarantee that Berlanga had a better jab combination that really sped. But Canelo, I know that I just talking about his past his prime, but he still had an amazing ability to stick with like the ball to make an opponent for the fear counter-version. I mean, that was way more faster. War made faster, because they need to impose like a size instead of like a back into the ropes. Canelo will get really tired faster doing for the arm wrestling tactic. But talking about for the primes, I mean, Canelo Alvarez is almost like 40 years, but Berlanga is 27. And his prime, he didn't win a round. At times, he don't even like, he was trying to win a round, but other promotion he was there that runs for his power, he should have a left in how to take risk. Way away from that one. As long as the things that are about for the come from the boxing. Now, this coming like anything especially as much as an exhibitions fight. Because that would really a one for that point. Because there is no sense of danger about all those fights. And the attitude I love for those, at least and then getting knocked out. It really happens after the fight. I wouldn't mind that those fights wasn't a clear number 2, but Abidas. If Canelo truly fights like Eubank, sure. How curious is it about whether they continue to defend this? But he was trying to literally to take Berlanga head off all the fight long. When Canelo he was far from Nguya, he was carrying off, it wasn't around for like very aggressive. But I think that Berlanga did better than Mujia did. I mean, the rounds Mujia were based on Canelo letting him win those rounds, and he never actually earned that he just won. And I just feel that it just completely like not getting out of control, but it just felt like that was like at a great on point. But I understand that he was trying to be like to paint a lot of more narrative, but I think they just wanted to like very caught himself. But Whenever when he did earn like the first rounds in Canelo would just do like trying to knock out Berlanga, they made like more stupid. But Canelo just made like the shots more predictable, but learning a lot. I know he just went more forward, let it just throw like more punches, make it like really easy on them. Really easy on them. If they wanted to like let it win at all, it just wouldn't happen at all. It just basically like everything happens. Like everything. So what I was trying to do, like at a very something at all, I mean, that should be really noticed. That should be really noticed that everything could happen at this point right now. So I know he earned like it is something about for the respect, is because they want to see like start very slow, but well, Berlanga just won like 0 rounds and he was consistently like fighting on the ropes. He just started very slow with the first round, but he didn't take that one. He didn't take that. And I really understand that he's way more faster with his footwork. They really messed it up. They really messed it up. I mean, they never knocked out before down a few times in his career, but I think that he should like impose like this size for everything. It just wanted to impose like a size for everything. I mean, it doesn't be like really complicated at all. So I just wanted to tell like big props to Berlanga to not pull it down right now, because I know that I understand that some fighters can really be thought right now, but I just want to think about it. This might be like a trick, but also it just me like things are not getting like out of control. But I realized that he just went like from the underdog, but of course it just made like something very amazing at all. And it's just like boom. And I think that Berlanga he should be like what are the next big thing. And they're gonna know about for trusting that. They ain't getting no for everything. They ain't getting no. And after that, I just talking about for Canelo versus Berlanga. I mean, we just saw it about for the spring because I know that it was like very fun. And every fighter was far larger than Canelo with the exception of the third GGG fight. It really doesn't matter. He gets like a more credit of Berlanga. He should be like a being like a lot of people doesn't consider like the world class boxer, but it just came like a contender, getting like a life changing payday against like a pound by pound fighter. It really does the same with all of the UFC fighters, boxing fighters. I mean, they just can't like a really good enough for that. They just wanted to go. And that's why they just made like a great point to see who is on prime, who's gonna be rookie. I mean, who's gonna be almost to retire. I mean, that should be noticed at all. That should be like really noticed at all. So, and I was gonna say it. This should be like a really interesting, but I think that Berlanga needs to more like really improve about for this footwork. And I love he was doing over this time, but I really think that this is gonna be so not very too shabby, not very controversial, but this is gonna be like an important deal for Berlanga's career. And I know it's gonna be like on this prime, but let the youngsters come in hot. Because I know that some veterans they're almost past this prime, but let the young people know for the entire world who they really are. So they're getting ready for the war. They get ready. They get ready at all. And after that, I was talking about for Canelo Alvarez versus Berlanga, about for the Saturday night fight. Right now, let's take a look. Well, not taking a look right now, because right now, let's just wanted to see like the another topic right now. The UFC 306 for the first time at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And let me tell you for this something. When you go to the Sphere in Las Vegas and you're enjoying all these fights with all these the LED lights and of course like the pictures, the videos. I was like, wow, this is truly amazing. It gives like poor cinematic, but also it's like one of the most expensive events of the UFC all during for the history. Because right now it seems that they're at the game right now. It just feel like very right. Very right for everything. Salute to you, Robert Pena. How's it going? Also, Denver Sports Highlights. Salute to you. Also, the Menace is in the building. True Raider said Canelo watching Bellator versus Bebo for sure. Yeah, because he was doing like something like film study at all. Because I know this is gonna be like really interesting at all for this one, but it's just like very interesting. But right now, let's just move for the UFC 306. It gives like a lot of cinematic world. It just like take it for another level. But also, it became like one of the most expensive events during for the UFC history. And we're not even talking about for like the banker between Alexa Grasso versus Shevchenko and Sean O'Malley versus Murat Dvalishvili. Perfect opportunity to see fighters in action. So, between for Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko, I mean, I really thought that Alexa Grasso could be like a lot of take advantage for Valentina Shevchenko. But at the same time, and I just wanted to tell you, at the same time, we just saw like Valentina Shevchenko taking a lot of damage for everything, a lot of this one. But I just really thought it's gonna be like surrealistic. But right now, Valentina Shevchenko, it became like so superior about for the grappling, the violent style, because she was ready to take like everything. She was taking everything that we just wanted to talk about it. And for that moment, I mean, that should be like really interesting. But I really thought they're gonna have in their hands. In their hands. But right now it seems that the honest wasn't kind of like very realistic, but it seems that was kind of like very boring. But no. It was like a very interesting, but it seems that they couldn't happen anything better. They couldn't be having better because grappling for her can't be fun. I mean, when they look at her with submission or for finish, I mean, they just wanted to realize that it's gonna be like really happens at all. It seems like everything about for like 5 minutes to everything, it's just completely like out of control. But they just wanted to put like a lot of pressure on it, a lot of pressure, because what they had to bring it out the whole thing when it comes to like Valentina Shevchenko. I mean, their grappling style is very dangerous. And I know that she took a lot of damage because I know that Valentina Shevchenko will say, this is my time to shine. This is my time to recover the title. And this is my perfect time to see how I beat Alexa Grasso. But I think that she was taking like a lot of damage to take over. But I think that Alexa Grasso made like a lot of great points. But it seems that they never disappointed right now. I mean, she was completely froze. She was completely froze like Elsa for Frozen. Because she was like gonna spend over for the 90% of the time doing for the ground for the Hail Mary submissions that right at the getting up. That was like a very noticeable performance. And people thought about for the work for the ground. I mean, there was like a lot of lack, but she always looked stiff on the board on the feet. I mean, it was like a very like underrated performance, but they were literally taking it down every fight she wants or drew. I mean, they're not like at the same gym. There's no cage cutting, no wrestling, no game plans. Every single fight, because I'm very surprised because Alexa Grasso, during for that fight, she made like zero improvements over the past year. Because if you remember about like a few months ago, back in September 2013, when it comes to like the rematch between Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko, I mean, most of the success that came like capitalizing on mistakes that Valentina made. And when she didn't make it and she got dominated, that was completely out of the mind. It was like game over. People that just look at about Grasso didn't look at herself for fooling themselves. I mean, she was like very naturalized in every fight. Every fight when it comes to like the errors of everything. I mean, doesn't have like the killer mentality or the iron mindset to change like the fight that was on occurred, but it seems that it just became like a lot of things happen. But I think that I was like really shocking at all. But it seems like they didn't disappoint, but it just became like something that wasn't that very comfortable at all. Wasn't. It just went it just went like down for the heels. It's just being like under the knees. But after for that fight between Grasso versus Blanco, let's take it about for like Sean O'Malley versus Murat. Wow. So O'Malley was being like unable to neutralize this. Was unable because I just wanted to expect a lot of things more about from Sean O'Malley. I know he just won against Aljamain Sterling and he was like a completely underdog. But after for that hype, it just became like game over. Because Sean O'Malley, they just lost one for the better pressure wrestlers. We just see like in a recent history of the mixed martial arts. With probably like the tank, the best gas tank of all time. And people they say this hype train is over, this watch. Like he was like become Matsu right now. Because once you lose as a champ, you're not irrelevant. But people they just want to see still hype to see O'Malley fight because if it's against the striker, it's absolutely a beautiful fight. And some people they're really tripping at all. They're really tripping. But they came to look at a lot of hates from Robert, who's completely negates Sean Strickland, which is insane impressive. Insane. Because what about for like this fight that gets so special? What makes it very special? It's not only about for the wrestling and grappling style, as it calls the improvement. The improvement in pushing down the knees. It's just like really a nerd trick. If anyone could do like this one, I mean, no one says it's very impressive. I mean, plenty of the people were understand about for like the nuance of wrestling and grappling, but they had no interest in about like anything going to happen when it comes to the fighting. I mean, he was dominated with striking. He took the belt, and that was like everything was down for the first time. That was for the first time. And afterwards, you saw for like his prime or about for Sean O'Malley, and afterwards, we saw like Murat Dabashli, and everybody thought that Murat that Wiley when he doesn't have a lot of chance, but Sean O'Malley did the thing wrong. Did the thing wrong because Sean is very lucky because Murat has a serious submission ability, but Murat Dabashli he has very control after his knockouts. His knockout. His knockout. Because as Trolley stated in the knock right now, because they just literally had to steal like a killer instinct. Because they're about to go to fire them to finish the fight. Because he had to know about Murat that there has nothing on the field. Because once he touched it once, pause, and he still keep on fighting if Murat had the perfect strike him. Because he needs to be unload and force Murat to shoot it like a bad spot. Also, there's no need to rush to stand back. After all, Murat took it down. It's not like it's just like very simple performance. He's not gonna regret for this wall. But he seems that he really dominated about for the game, and he wants to conquer the world. Because literally, there's not gonna be like boring to watch. And I know it's gonna be like a really future because the strength training and conditioning is not very sophisticated. It's not because he was wowing at everything because Sean O'Malley didn't show out any effort and tried to get the strikes. Just like for 1, 2, 3, especially on the round number 3, he knew he was down. His gas tank, he was over. He knew the takedown was going to regardless. He was really scared. He was striking for a eliminate opening to Marab to take a shutdown. It makes no sense. But what happens to Sean O'Malley, it was just like a terrible effort. Effort. Because they just wanted to do it out for the screen right now. They just wanted to put it out for the performance. And they just wanted to start like everything happened for the striking. It's just really insane. All of this. All of this. I mean, he just looked terrible for the moment because they had no real plan in that. And after we just saw for a lot of moments, we just saw for like a lot of game plan. But I just really thought that Sean O'Malley, he doesn't have like a lot of plan. He doesn't. He doesn't at all. Because right now it seems that it feels like very, very complicated. All this. I mean, it feels like very complicated, but it just feel like it's just really so over. So over for that one. It just became so over. And it just feel like I just look very terrifying. Very terrifying. Very terrifying. But all of it of this one, I mean, that's what out of those fights that I was literally had to really pumped up. Because I know that between Sean O'Malley versus Murat Dabowski, I mean, that was like a great fight of grappling and striking. But it seems that it doesn't have like much point to see how in this fighters became very good shape. But they're getting right out of the street. They're getting right out of the gas tanks. So I know that some fighters can be like really tired, but it seems like it's not the over. It's not the end of the world. So I just really thought that it's gonna be like so monumental, but I just see like a lot of rematch going up for the future. But at some points it doesn't seem like it really happens in the World Series. It doesn't really happen. But right now, I just want to tell it about this one because for the next topic, I just wanted to talk about it because, well, remember one year, they just got on their hands a great match between John Jones versus Steve Miocic. Yep, Steve Miocic, ladies and gentlemen, and that just substituted by Jerry Prochazka versus Carlos Pereira. I don't know about the name, but it just seemed that it became official. Yep, it became official, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not gonna talking about for jokes right now, because Saturday, November 16th, before Thanksgiving, they have John Jones versus Steve Miocic. It is gonna make the first defense. Check this out. They're gonna make this first defense of the undisputed title against Steve Miocic. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, because this is gonna be like so really important at the Madison Square Garden at New York City, because they just wanted to make like everything. But I feel like between John Jones versus Steve Miocic, I don't think it's gonna be like pretty quick. It's not. It's really not. It's just really like something is happening because they just wanted to defend the title. They just wanted to defend. But as a matter of fact, because Thomas Pinol, it became like reiterating championship. But it seems that they have a lot of control about this. But it seems that they just wanted to put in like it away. They just want to rule. Because Steve Miocic wasn't. Because they just wanted to get it like a past his prime. But it will be cool if the way that happens in 2015, just like a few years ago. But I just really thought that if Steve Miocic makes like a announcement for his retirement, everyone's gonna be really shocked. Everyone's gonna be really shocked. But one, they're gonna spend like a lot of ultimate to fight twice heavyweight, and they're gonna call like a career, ladies and gentlemen, because the late 30s is usually prime for heavyweight. Jones has never major injuries. It is really like more athletic than all of the heavyweights. Literally, one of those reasons people wanted to retire is being a free astronaut in embarrassment. And we're gonna look at the rich and charred territories is Mayosi. Steve Stielbeck is gonna stop Jones. But I think they're gonna fight it to dispute it. But it seems that it's not gonna be like too late. But the people that just wanted to see not only Steve Mayosi gets like an announcement, but people that just wanted to see John Jones finally retire. As we all know about for like who's gonna be the greatest of all time with UFC because they just lost another fight to Gustafsson and they just lost to Reyes. I mean the judges, I mean they're just they were like getting the hype, they're not going, and also the eye poke. Also there's not mention about like the personal lies going out there. I mean, they're getting ready to move on. They get ready to move on. Because if the people want to see it about not getting like the title shot, I mean, this is going to give you like a really sport. Because it's getting like a rate. Whoever's going to win this, because if they want to test it about for like his age and everything, it really makes sense. But it's very important to see how they get involved in this fight. Because if they're not going to replace it with a fight, then who's going to take it? Who's going to take it? Who's going to take it for everything? I mean, if you guys remember about this, hold on a minute. If you guys remember about it, it's the first time you just see like a lot of movements for everything. Because it's just like a makeup for the boogie. And I know it's not going to be like really at all right now because they just announced it at the speed. They just announced it. And I know that some of those fights could be like really interesting, but I would love to see like a between for different timelines how they're gonna beat Jones. Because I know that he just claimed that John Jones is beatable at hands for the UFC, but in widely different ways, they have silly different at all. This is this is going to like anything happen on this one. Oh, sorry about for the camera. All right, so I just wanted to tell it about for this one. It's not that really complicated at all because I really understand that it should be like really enough for this, really enough because I understand about for the main card. We just were talking about it. Not only is John Jones versus Steve Miocic, but also there was Charles Rivera versus Michael Chandler. Yep, Michael Chandler, because he hasn't fought so long. He's still like a wearing games team, but he hasn't fought so long. I mean, he's still like everything is sounded about prime, but there has to be like a very error level. But it seems that they just wanted to like really promote for a while back, but it comes like after like the session, but they just wanted to really knock it out. But sometimes it seems like they're not gonna be like a really maintenance at all. They're not gonna be like a really maintenance. But I just wanted to start. But it seems that about for the fifth main card where it goes to Bo Nicola, the fifth about Eric Andrews, I mean, hasn't fought it. I mean, let's just see for like an image right there. And I know this is gonna be really exciting. So they just got like 4 fights. John Jones versus Ty Mios. Not Colin McGregor, unfortunately. Also got Araujo, Anthony Smith versus Dominic Reyes, and Chris Wetton versus Eric Andrews. Eric Andrews. But it seems like that nothing's very complicated at all, but it seems that it should be like a really very important. But it seems like some people that get operated, some people that get known. But they're gonna really highly anticipate it because we're really connected off of those fans. If the people want to see like a really good fight, if they want to do it, they just wanted to do it. But I really understand that it should be like really, really enough for this one. But it seems that they could have a lot of put the pressure because he wants to just go like wants to have a shot. Because how they gonna book it like number one contender against like the champion? If this one could be like a sport, I mean, an activity coming out for a loss, they wouldn't give it like a clear number one contender. I mean, he won't allow it. I mean, he has never achieved like a last minute replacement fight. I mean, there's no chance that they're gonna take over this fight. I mean, what is gonna be really happening? I mean, Slade Miocic is very old. Well, I'm not saying that I'm very old, but he has no good chance. Not to mention he's been anxious in that fight. He lost for like fight because he was legitimately never fight again. Because he just made like a the worst shape and he just lost big right now. Because imagine being like a champ or a former champ listening to like very like slap fighting with the teams like a ticket like a fans against like a harder opponent which is pause. They pay your life. Especially when it comes to the season round of fight before at the two. Because they don't want it to put like a trigger on. Because that's one of the people's they just wanted to doesn't give everything about for this one. Because it should have really knows because everybody knows that if they're gonna really fight it right now, they'll be like a really contenders. Because some people they never consider this as a GOAT. He's a great fighter, outstanding man. He always seems like very beatable. And even those defense titles are still like a number to not be because he was absolutely got murdered by Dome. Also the murder that everyone in the last years of UFC. When he defended like the most of the times, he's still like the only man to be like the scariest person that would belongs. I mean, imagine I have like 5 years in the last year. It's basically like everything. It's basically because they gave it like a man to put like everything on the everything about for this fight. Because if they're gonna refuse for the fights, they're gonna strip it all and ask, everyone's getting mad and someone at the call of the press like everything like I don't know, something stupid. But if the people want to see like Jones with fight, they're gonna to refuse fight Espinal, then they're gonna strip Espinal, everyone's get mad, and they're gonna call them the press conference to clown. But it wasn't very complaining at all because it just put like a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure. Because it doesn't have like a more interesting about for like fighters at heart. It was like winning bets for business. Winning bets for business because they have like undefeated at all. Because I'm just loving it for like the multiple times that they're like really dominating other athletes of the public. Because if I'm not gonna fight for this one, I mean, I just wanted to make those things clear. I just wanted to make things clear because they have to still figure it out. If they're gonna pay huge money to do things that people want to see, like get into a fight, and of course, on the money, there's like well, probably they're gonna be like anything can happen. So, but I just talking about for this. If anything could happen, a lot of things more for the UFC sports. If they want to put out a lot of great fights, they have to make like a great defenders. If they want to make it, then you go. You go for it. You go. And I'm not kidding about that, folks, because if anyone is really happy at all, just don't miss it at all. Just don't want it to miss it at all. Just don't. And I know this is gonna be really complicated, but I really thought this really happens when it comes to like everything. Everything's gonna be like in a lot of edge for like few years. Few years to really comfort. Few years. And I understand that this is gonna be like not to mention that I just want to talk about it. But I really understand that it should be like really important. So right now I just wanted to tell you that I just well, I just want to finish talking about for like UFC 306, the boxing fights, everything. Yeah, I know that I just want to let him know and make very sure. So right now, this is the episode number 31 of the Combat Club. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, which is Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, Zenith on YouTube. Also, make sure to subscribe also to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. So don't be a ninja. And of course, make sure to subscribe. It costs you free. And of course, you can watch every live streams about those sports. Yep, every sport at very cost. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer, boxing, mixed martial arts, everything. They're everything for it costs you like free. It didn't cost you $1. It didn't cost you $1. I just wanted to tell you. Thanks for joining us at the episode number 31 of the Combat Club. And I just wanted to make sure that my co-host, because I just wanted to talk like about the future of the Combat Club podcast, talking about the fights, boxing, and of course for the wrestling. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you very much for joining us for this Combat Club, the episode number 21, 21, talking about for like the UFC 306 and the boxing. So I just wanted to tell you, have a great night, and of course, stay positive, folks. Stay positive. Right here, so we go. Oops. Okay, so this is like the wrong button. So, all right. So this is the good. So, good one, fellas, and we'll see you there in the next.